CNN comes out of nowhere, and they're showing a clip of Kamala Harris. Very weird that CNN is doing. It's not this one, Rob. It's the other one. They're showing a clip that on one of the ads, it's showing, Rob, just go to my Twitter account. It's right there. One of the ads, this is it. There you go. One of the ads is showing the Harris administration talking very positively to the Muslim community, and the other one is an ad created targeting Jews. So this is what you call an ultimate flip-flopper, and Kamala Harris is doing that, and CNN is so worried that they may go out of business after, election is over with. If Trump wins, they'll still be in business for another 4 years. But CNN needs to find a way to stay in business because they're just pretty much a institution that's supporting one side. They're so desperate and afraid of losing money because their salaries, imagine they had a meeting and they're saying, guys, you keep bullshitting around like this and just selling your agenda constantly, I'm going to have to lower your salary by 40%. Either be straight up or stop playing games. Oh, what do you mean? Well, we're paying you this much. You're going to go to $2 million next year. No. I'll be fair with the American people if my salary stays the same. No shit, Sherlock. Do your job. Be fair, right? Play this clip, Rob. Here's what happened. Take a look at this.
Tonight, mixed messages. A K-file investigation this hour finds Kamala Harris is targeting crucial battleground voters with vastly different messages on Gaza and Israel. This ad is running in Michigan, which has the largest Arab population in America.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent.
All right, well, it's a very different story for an ad in Pennsylvania targeting Jewish voters.
Let me be clear. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7.
Different message. Andrew Kaczynski is out front now. So, Andrew, those obviously do sound starkly different.
Because they show something.
Tell me more about what you found.
Yeah, that's right. And this really illustrates the sort of fine line that the Harris campaign is trying to walk here in the closing weeks, closing days of this campaign on the issue of Israel. Here you have two entirely different constituencies, and they are getting two entirely different messages. There are often times these constituencies have very opposing views on this. If you are a Jewish person in Pennsylvania, you saw that ad that you're getting. You are getting that ad that talks about how strong she is in Israel. If you're a Muslim voter in Michigan, you are getting that ad on Facebook that's talking about how she won't be silent on the issue of Gaza. Now, what's really interesting here is that ad that we just played, the one that's going to Jewish voters in Pennsylvania. Now, it sort of sounds like those two clips of her talking about Israel are together, but they actually cut part of it out. Take a listen to what they cut.
Whoa. What has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
And you've seen, too, that she...
okay, you can pause it right here. By the way, do you think, something like this, for whatever percentage of the Muslim vote and whatever percentage of the Jewish vote, what percentage of the Muslim and the Jewish undecided voter looks at this and says, what are you doing? And I'm out at this point, or nothing? Does it move 500 voters? Does it move 8,000 voters? Does it move 15,000 voters? Does it move 100,000 voters? How much does this move, Tom?
I think this moves, and I thought about this over the weekend. I honestly think this can move, a quarter to a third of a percent of voters. And I'll tell you why. Because it's duplicitous. It's trying to do both things. And an independent voter that maybe had decided they were going to lean Kamala because, all of the I'm not Trump kind of pulled him over the edge, or all of the, well, Trump is this and this, pulled him over the edge, because it wasn't policies. It is an absolute fact that policies are not pulling voters over to Kamala. It is the continual barrage of I'm not Trump, and it's a perception campaign. So I think this moves a few voters back who were those not weak people, but the independent voters that were not really sold on their position, their vote. But well, you know what? All right, I'm gonna go Kamala here. There's a little sliver of those that I think pull back.
I don't know, Pat.
How many? How
That's
many?
what I'm saying
500,
I was gonna say-
1,000, 5,000? How many?
I think in Pennsylvania, the Jewish voters, I think it moves about 0.5% of the Jewish voters.
I guess the part, again, we can do all of this with Matt. How many total Jewish voters do we have in the U.S., Rob? Can you pull it up? Is it a total Jewish vote? And I'm going to do Muslim. Total, let's do the same with total Muslim voters in U.S.
At the most.
What is total Jewish voters in U.S.? What's the number, Rob?
7 million at the most.
Okay, in here it says data from CAIR indicates that there's over 2.5 million Muslim voters. Okay, 2.5 million
That's it.
Muslim voters. Of the 2.5 million
Muslim or Jewish?
Muslim. I'm looking at Muslim. He's
Gotcha.
looking at
Thought you meant
Jewish.
Jewish.
Okay,
Gotcha.
2.5 million Muslim voters. Okay, how do Muslims vote? Democrat or Republican? I think it's a 65. If I'm not mistaken, it's a 65-35. Okay, if you go to Pew Research, you would notice that, well, that's 2017. Okay, what percentage of, there you go, Rob, if you can pull that up. It's of 2020 Jewish adults. Okay, so right there, check this out. What estimates I said 85% of voters. Okay, so 85% of 4.4 million, which is what? Is that about 3.6 million? So what's 4.4 million, 4.4 times 85.
So it's 3.7?
3.74. So out of the 3.74 million, can you pull up what percentage of Jewish voters vote left versus right?
It's typically
if you
like
had to guess,
2/3, 1/3.
2/3 Democrat.
Maybe even higher.
Yeah.
Maybe 70-30.
So for Muslims, you would see 62% are Democrats, 17% are Republicans.
Yeah.
So let's actually do the math.
Okay.
Okay. 2.5 million Muslim voters. In here, 62% are Democrats, which is 1.55 million of the 2.5 million. Okay. That's 62%, 17% are Republican. So 2.5 times 17%, you're looking at 425,000. How much have the Muslims moved to the right? What percentage of the 62%?
Have
Do you
gone.
think maybe they lost 5%? Maybe they lost
Maybe.
5%?
I don't
Let's
think.
say
I don't think a ton. Have moved.
I'm saying 5%. That's
Okay.
that's
Sure.
5%. Okay,
That's
what's
fair.
5% on 250? 2.5 million times 5%. You're looking at 125,000 voters have moved. So of the 125,000 that have moved, let's put it at 550, okay, total, and the rest is on the other side. So of the remaining, whatever percentage that is left, okay, 1.4 million that's left. How many the remaining 1.4 or the 21% that don't lean either side, that's 300,000. How many of them haven't voted yet? Okay, that's what you have to consider. How many of them haven't voted yet? Let's just say 50% hasn't voted yet. Would you say 50% hasn't
Right
voted
now?
yet?
Yeah,
Actually-
I think we're in most big states like this where people are activated, and certainly activated in Pennsylvania because it's so important.
It's yes or no, Tom. Is it 50%?
Here's the deal: 65%.
Maximum.
Okay,
No.
So let's say-
65% have voted early, and on election day, 32% vote. So 2/3 of people have already voted. They say.
So a third has not voted
Correct.
yet.
Yeah.
Of the third that hasn't voted yet, of
Okay.
the 300,000 independent, no-leaning voters, what percentage did this move? 1% is 3,000 people. Of the 3,000 people, then you have to ask yourself, what percentage of the 3,000 people is in battleground states that matter?
That's a great question.
Then you have to do the same with Jews. So does this really move anything? I don't think they're that scared of this. I think they're like, you know what? We can gaslight enough of them. They're going to vote for us anyways. They hate the other guy, Trump. They're going to come for. That's how it's almost an arrogant way of. You know what it's like? Let me tell you what it's like. It's an arrogant way of them saying, listen, even to those Muslims and Jews that we lose, the rest of you are going to be for us anyways. What do you have to say about it, Muslims and Jews? You got our back anyways, because the other guy's the scary guy. Don't forget, he's scary. He is very scary, right? So we have you. Don't worry, you're not going anywhere. You think that's the approach they take? Tom, do you think that's the approach they take, or do they look
I
at
think
this
they
as
are
a
being
blunder?
arrogant.
Are you saying this specific clip?
Bro, this ad they did,
Okay,
they knew what they
yeah.
were doing. It's not like this
So-
is a mistake. This is not a mistake. They did this ad knowing exactly what they were doing.
So I think many people have already made up their mind prior to them seeing this ad. It came out over the weekend, correct?
Well, meaning clip. The
This
CNN,
clip,
the CNN
exposing
event,
this. So I think many people already made up their mind. So I think
But if you're saying that, wait a
Yes.
minute. If you're saying many people have already made up their mind,
Yes.
if you think many people have made up their minds, then why are you still running an ad? The only reason they're spending millions of dollars
Yes.
still for 72 hours running an ad is because they're still thinking, I still got to get the undecided voter. So I don't think everybody has made up their mind. I think they're going after that 5 to 10% that is still undecided, but does that move the needle? Or are these guys that overly arrogant and confident to say, we know what we're doing, and you're still not going to do anything about it?
so. You are right that it is only probably 5%, maybe 10% that is undecided. The hubris of the Kamala Harris campaign to run totally different ads in Michigan and in Pennsylvania. I mean, we get it. The fact that it's CNN exposing them and not Fox and not basically a right-wing media outlet is actually laughable. But here's the reality. I said this 6 months ago when everything was going on about Biden before Kamala Harris showed up, is that no one can serve two masters. What's the famous quote from Matthew in the Bible where no one can serve two masters, either will hate one and love the other. He will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. So in this regard, Kamala has been pandering to the Muslims in Dearborn. She's also been pandering to the Jews in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. But people have been exposed to this for too long. The Muslims for Trump in Dearborn, Michigan last week. Did you see that one coming?
No.
Did you see the Somalia man?
No.
Rob, did you see the Somalia man video? Play the Somalia man video. Look how eloquently he speaks.
Yeah.
And look what he said. Rob, I think I send you the link. If you don't have it, I'll send it to you while I go to Tom real quick.
He's a
Is this the Somalia guy?
the link you're about to see is a community leader, an established businessman with Somali
Vinny, what do you want to say until we play this clip? Rob, I'll send it to you. I didn't send it to you earlier.
And I like what you guys are talking about the ad. I think it's more of the arrogance.
It's that one right there,
People
Rob.
that they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
But my thing is
Top
going back
left.
to what Adam said about, you know, where he always says follow the money. Follow the reasoning on why would CNN even air something like that would damage the Kamala Harris campaign this late in the game, Pat? Do you think it's because they're trying to save face and
Let
show?
me tell you what CNN is at, Vinny. I'm telling you where CNN is at. They have lost so much credibility. Vinny, here's what takes place. Let me tell you how it is. When I'm in the insurance company and there's sales guys that are working the bonus system.
Meaning-
And the company hasn't figured
Okay,
it out
I got
yet
you,
because sales knows how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've been on the sales side, I've been the sales leader,
Yeah.
and I've been on the product side, and I've been the CEO. So I've been in all four. So I know all the positions and the fears and insecurities and ways you try to take advantage of the system. So all of a sudden, company is starting to kind of figure out something's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
There's these 4 markets that they're doing XYZ to manipulate the commission. Then those sales guys would meet up together and they would say, hey, we got to have an emergency meeting together. What's the meeting about? Company's about to change the comp plan. And it's going to cost me 40% of my income. What do you mean? Dude, I think I'm going to go from $700,000 to $400,000 a year income. Oh, shit. Yeah, my mortgage payment is $13,000 a month. My car payment alone, I have $4,000 a car payment. That's crazy if they do that. Oh, my God, what are we going to do? Now, they're gaming the system.
Of course.
So then they have to be forced to go back to do actually the right thing for the client, actually do annual reviews, actually pay attention to placement, actually pay attention to persistency, actually pay attention to documentation, proper needs analysis. They go back to doing business the proper way. CNN, mainstream media, have been doing that and still getting paid and realizing it's not like I'm getting a demotion. They're still paying me a ton of money to do this. All of a sudden, this year, these guys came and said, everybody's losing their salary. You ain't getting paid that kind of money anymore. Now they're having a meeting in freaking Hamptons. They're going to dinner together at the same restaurants in Greenwich. They're going to the same places on Long Island, having the drinks, the left, the right, everybody. And they're like, dude, shit, man, I just went from 3 million to 1.2. You heard Johnny didn't make it. What are you talking about? Yeah, bro, he's gone. Are you serious? What's he going to do? I don't know, bro. I hope he saved his money. I don't think he did. His last divorce cost him $7 million. Oh, damn, I feel bad for that guy. That's what they're going through. So then CNN's going to say, MSNBC's going to say, hey, man, you guys better go back to proper journalism or else this shit's not going to work. We're getting our asses handed to us. Look where, Trump went to Rogan, 40+ million views. Look what America's going towards. They're not coming to us. So I think these guys are forced to have to report on this. They don't have a choice. The leader at the top says, is that the right thing to do? Report on it.
Yeah.
Do it. By the way, I'm going to transition to this next story, and you'll see
Oh,
why.
you want to see this one, Pat? This guy?
Oh, that's the Somalian guy.
Who's this guy?
He's a local leader, Rob. Go on and play this clip.
And the reason why is because he's a fighter. That's it. We like fighters. More importantly, the left left us. They left us. 33% of our kids at third grade cannot read at grade level. We went from the 6th to what? 19 now? In Minnesota in education? I mean, we are failing in every standard. 8th graders, 60% cannot do math at grade level. These are our kids. We talk about economic conditions here. Our conditions is horrible. We can't afford anything as working class and middle class people. Now, please understand this. We love our brothers and sisters who are Democrats, but you left us. And because the left left us, join the right, vote for Trump.
Wow.
2024, vote for Joe Trabe. 2024, vote for Maisie Young in St. Paul. 2024, vote for Tajud in CD3. 2024, vote for
You can pause
Tom
it right
Emma, our lion.
By the way, the left
Left us.
The
Wow.
left left us.
That's a great
That's the
quote.
quote,
By the
Rob,
way,
for the clip.
I'm willing to
the
bet.
left us, Rob.
I'm
That's
willing to
great.
bet that this guy is in what state?
Minnesota?
Minnesota. Who's the congresswoman famous in Minnesota? Ilhan Omar.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She's from Somalia. You know what they call the little area in Minneapolis, because I have family there, Little Mogadishu. That's the capital of Somalia. But it's not shocking that it's 5 dudes up on stage saying the left left us. We are Democrats. They're not women on stage there. Again, gender gap still pervasive, even in Somalia, Little Mogadishu, Minnesota. He's basically saying, I can't condone what's going on.
What do you think his religion is? That man's religion.
He's probably Muslim.
Okay. When it's Muslim, who speaks on behalf of the family in the Muslim community? Who speaks?
The men.
Typically the man, yes.
Okay.
All the time.
This is a cultural. This is a culture. I get what you're
But
saying.
she's the most famous.
She can be
person.
the most famous, but in that culture, you want to talk about like the man of the household in the Muslim community, bro. It's the man of the household.
I
it's a
fully understand that,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is I'd be
You're making a
way
very
more impressed if Muslim women came out and they were supporting Trump.
Right.
That would be compelling.
I think the argument you're making in today's podcast, the fact that the women vote we have to pay attention to, you're right. All I'm asking is when they make a clip like that, one day advertising to Muslims, saying we're this, the other day advertising to Jews, do they think they own the Jewish and the Muslim vote that they're not going to leave them? You have to be so bold. That's not a blunder like Mark Cuban saying, hey, he doesn't have any strong women around him. That's not a blunder like Biden saying, hey, garbage supporters, Trump supporters. No, they spend millions on that ad knowing that's their job. These are not dummies. Yep. They're doing it thinking the voters are dummies, not them. That's how they're doing it. What an arrogant position to insult two great communities, Jews and Muslims, okay? That are on one end with Muslims, what community are they part of? You think they're part of this LGBTQ stuff? You think they're part of this transgender woman? You think they're part? No.
But they do have the gays for Gaza.
You know, and then you got the other side with, so I don't know. I don't know what they're doing here with this side, but we're going to find out if it's going to work out. Obviously, on this podcast here, I was in the 101st Airborne Division. Vinny was in the Air Force. He was the Airman of the Year out of all their Air Force soldiers. He was the Airman of the Year. We have a limited edition Armed Forces shirt gear for you that says, you know, different kinds. One says, we support the armed forces with dog tags on the bottom. We have different colors, jackets, shirts. We have the new Valuetainment dog tag. We even have Angry Patriot dog tag. Rob, if you can show the Angry Patriot dog tags. Incredible quality of this United States veteran, proud to have served. If you served, this is the shirt to wear on the back of it. It's got the Valuetainment logo with Future Looks Bright. We also got sweaters there. This is limited. We didn't order a lot because of vets, but you know how we feel about you. And we have a big veteran community. Anybody that places any order, doesn't matter if you just buy the dog tag or a sweater or a shirt, we're going to throw in a Veterans Day gift of the mugs. That's for the first 100 people that place the order. If you're a vet or if you know somebody in your family that's a veteran. Next week is Veterans Day. Get some gear. It'll take 3 days to get to you so you can sport this next week. God bless to everybody. You can go to VT Merch for that. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.